Hi, I'm Rene Davila, and here I am on another Sunday lesson in this series that we have been doing virtually. If this is your first time here, I highly encourage you to go back to the first lesson and try to do our lessons right from the very beginning so you can understand a little bit better what we're doing. If you have been watching these episodes every week, you're prepared for what we're going to do today, which is very, very exciting. But before I start the lesson, I would like to, as usual, thank everybody for their support. I want you to once again remind you that Tango can only be alive if, especially during this terrible crisis that we are all going through, Tango can only survive if we all support it. I know that there's a lot of virtual activities going on, not only these lessons today, not only this channel in YouTube. There's other lessons going on live on Zoom, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, promoted by other Tango instructors. I encourage you to try to support them as well. The more that you support every artist of Tango, the more we are going to end up producing. So we're going to come back eventually with a lot more strength. It's very crucial for us to keep doing this work as artists. That's the only way that we can basically exist. We need to produce that. I was talking last week with a lot of other artists, and they were like saying to me, Rene, I don't care about the money any longer. I really need to get this art out of my system. So if an artist stops producing, it's kind of like we are in a way dying inside. That's the reason why I want you to not to waste this all energy that is being produced. I want you to help all these artists that are at home like you are, but they are struggling a lot worse than most of other artists. So it's very important for you to collaborate us in these times of crisis. And like I said earlier, we are having a series of interesting activities during this weekend. We have Ricardo Badaraco as our guest musician in our Milonga today. And we just released yesterday another podcast with the song Poema, which I encourage you to listen to. It's very, very exciting. It gives us the possibility to understand a different part of Tango, which we have not yet been able to do so because of the barrier of the language, which I am trying to build a gate. And I would highly encourage you to listen to the podcast. If you have any questions about that, any suggestions that you may have, or any other comments that might surge from this podcast, please let me know. So I will be excited to answer all your questions or any inquiries that you might have. So with that said, let me start with the lesson today. We're going to keep doing the sacadas that we were practicing last week, but instead of just doing the sacada as a movement in forward ochos, we're going to try to use the molinete as a source of our sacada. This from the perspective of the leaders. As a follower, I would like you to take care, like we were pointing out last week, I would like you to take care of the quality in doing your molinete, which basically is trying to step under your elbow and always drawing a straight line around the leader. But let me start, as I usually do, with the exercise for the leaders. So in this case, I would like you to, before any a practice with our partner or practice of the steps, we're going to do a very simple exercise first. I want you to think an angle of 90 degrees, okay? And we're going to take a forward step with our right foot. And then we're going to draw, see how I'm using my left leg in order to search for that 90-degree angle. I walk forward. Look how I'm touching the ground with my heel. Then I switch my weight completely to the frontal part of my foot. Then I'm going to pivot. My feet are collecting a little bit, and then I'm finishing the movement, elongating my leg. I'm going to do, so you can see that ending part, I'm going to start the pivot with my back to the camera. So I make the forward step, and then I pivot. I want you to remember this, the ending of this step. So if you really want to practice this, I would encourage you to keep doing it, completing a square. Look how I'm going to do it. I'm going to imagine that I have my dance partner in front of me. I'm going to go forward, forward, forward. Notice that when I am, this is the side, right? Notice that when I'm doing the exercise, my dance partner is not just here. See, it's not that I am carrying her. My dance partner needs to be in the middle, in the center of that square, that imaginary square that I have in front of me. So once again, I want you to imagine that part. Okay, this first exercise, most of us have our right side stronger than the left. And that's the reason why I am starting with the right leg forward. Eventually, you're going to use the left. But today, we're going to just focus in starting with the right side, okay? So to make it easy, both for leaders and also for followers. If I think of the steps as a set, we're going to try to start a molinete. The easiest way to start a molinete is to walk the first 5 steps of the basic step. That is going to be my line of dancing, and I'm going to do the first 5 steps of the basic step. I'm going to start with my right foot. That is going to be my number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here I'm going to lead a forward ocho, and that is going to be my first sacada. Then I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to place my foot like this. That is going to be my second sacada. And then I'm going to and after that, for now, I'm going to just finish in a forward step, another forward step, and we're going to keep going 6, 7, and 8. That is going to be the first part of our exercise. Now, in order for you to have a visual of what it would be like doing this in a couple, I'm going to highly encourage you, leaders and followers, to find 2 sticks. You probably have that broom or that a stick that you're not using at home and it's like in the garage or somewhere hidden, bring it back to you and try to practice as I am doing the exercise with the sticks. It's really it's a very good exercise that you're going to end up not only enjoying, but you're going to end up thinking what is the role of your dance partner. I don't really want you to learn the role, but it is very important to know where the legs of the other person, my dance partner in this case, are. So, once again, I'm going to walk first to the basic step, to the 5th step. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I want you to remember the exercises that we did. Here, I'm going to uncross those feet. I'm going to lead to the forward ocho. And when that is happening, look where I am stepping with my right foot. This is the first sacada. When I do a sacada, like I explained last week, what I am doing, my dance partner is using this space, this spot in the universe. I'm going to steal that spot by moving her quickly. See how now I am using this spot in the universe. That's what it means to do a sacada. So in the sacada today, in the set of sacadas that we are doing a sacada on her forward ocho. Look, this is a forward ocho. Right after that, look at my torso. I'm moving my torso, displacing her leg and sending that leg to a side step. And immediately I finish that, I'm going to place my foot closer to her right foot to create a constant spinning. Basically, what I am leading to my dance partner is a molinete. My upper body is just leading a molinete, but my legs are doing a sacada. And I am finding in the sacada the energy to move my upper body. Every time that I step forward and I pivot, see, first, let me explain a little bit that part. When I do the pivot, I'm moving my torso in order to create this movement that is like a screw going down the floor. Let me show you again. Right after that forward step, imagine that you have to hit somebody behind you with your elbow. That automatically gives me the energy to do that pivot. That energy also is forcing the muscles around my core to be used. If I just try to do it with my feet, I'm going to fall because my upper body is going to feel a little bit awkward because it will not be connected with the rest of my body. I need to look where my upper body is looking. I'm looking at the camera and then I am forcing to take that next step. So if you remember this during the steps, let's start again, right from the very beginning. We first march to make sure that we are in the same path. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first thing I have to do is uncross those legs, lead to a forward ocho. See, the forward ocho is happening and I step forward right in front of me. I cannot step kind of like this. I'm going to go right in front. My torso is already moving together with my dance partner. And I displace her leg. In this case, her right leg. I'm sorry, her left leg. Boom! Her leg is arriving and my other foot is already doing the second sacada. In the same fashion, I displace and she keeps going around me. She's going to step. After that first and second sacada, I'm doing it again. First sacada, second sacada. She's going back one step, side one step, forward, and then I finish the molinete there. So, if you're wondering how many steps the lady has to do around me, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cross, and then I start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then finish 6, 7, 8. So the lady has to do 6 steps before I finish the set. When we finish the set, we always go 6, 7, and 8. That's the reason where after the 6th step, I'm counting 6 again, because that's how we end, counting 6, 7, 8. And these 6, 7, 8 come from the basic. What is happening? See? I'm going to do the first 8 steps of the basic, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to leave these suspended. I'm going to put a parenthesis and I'm going to put to keep this on hold. Then I do my sacadas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember that we left that on hold? It was in a 5th, right? So here I go, 6, 7, 8 of the basics. So what I'm doing is I'm making 5 steps. Then I put that set of steps on hold, and I do my sacadas, molinete and sacadas, and then I finish the original set that has 8 steps by doing 6, 7, and 8. Very important for the leaders to understand this. Sacada sounds a little bit aggressive. Sounds like patada, which means to kick. It sounds like a little bit, even in Spanish, it sounds a little bit aggressive. The best sacada ever is when you never touch the leg of your partner. So I want you to remember this whenever you're doing the sacadas. Your upper body is moving the lady in such an interesting way that you're basically moving her before your foot is going down, okay? And that portion of your body is what it's making the movement look so very nice and energetic, not your kick. I want you to imagine that Ginger and Fred are actually the legs of my dance partner, and I'm going to try to kick them. And you're going to realize how awkward it looks, not only when you basically look at what I am doing as a leader, but also how awful it's going to look from the followers' perspective, because she's going to feel a little bit attacked if I try to use my legs. So I'm going to imagine that I already did the crossing. I'm uncrossing. What would happen if I do this? See? Because I'm not moving my upper body, I'm going to move a little bit here. This is the forward ocho. This would be the first sacada. If I go and I step and I try to do this, look how my position that originally had to be this and this, it's ending up being this. I'm not using just my leg, but in order to give that kick the intention, I have to move my center, and I am like using my pelvis a little bit to kick that. And that basically, to me, to my eyes, turns into an aggression. That is not dancing. That is just a pure aggression. Okay? The stick is unanimated, but now imagine that that would be the leg of your dance partner attached to her body. Look how awkward that leg movement feels, as opposed to if I am dancing and I do the sacada correctly, that leg flies in a very nice and possibly perfect circle around me. Okay? If I kick, that leg is going to go in a straight line in front of me. Okay? So it's going to feel, from the perspective of the lady, is going to go there. It's not going to go circular. It's not going to invite her to do the pivot. So I want you to think about that. Not only as a the aesthetical part of it while you're dancing, but mostly because whenever we're dancing, everything is like an invitation, a very nice and formal invitation. It can never be an aggression. Okay? Now, in the second part, exactly the same is happening. It feels that I don't have any room. See, this is the forward step, this is the first part, but the more I pivot, the better I'm going to. See how when I'm doing that sacada, I'm moving my upper body. I'm never touching the stick ever with my body. See? I enter here and then I am moving my chest. Because I am dancing, just me controlling the sticks have no life whatsoever. Whenever I'm doing this, the stick is flying away. Or for the ladies, I actually would like you to never leave the ground. Okay, but I am going to show you that in a little bit. So once again, from the other perspective, gentlemen, please look at what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I uncross. 1, 2. Now, if you already got this, I want you to try to keep practicing to other movements that we already did and see how this is going to, the next exercise that I'm going to show you is going to be a little bit more exciting and probably in your head a lot easier to do. I'm going to go to the cross as usual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the cross. So I do the first sacada, second sacada, sandwich immediately. After the sandwich, forward ocho, another forward ocho, and I keep dancing 6, 7, 8. Very simple. I'm going to do it again from the different perspectives. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sacada, first one. second sacada, sandwich. I don't have to do anything. My foot was here. The only thing I'm doing is that. I make the sandwich. I invite her to go over my foot, pivot, another forward step. I hold her up. I switch my weight and I finish 6, 7, and 8 of the basic. From the other angle, if you didn't capture everything already. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First sacada, second sacada, sandwich, forward ocho, another forward ocho, and my dance partner ended up barefoot. 6, 7, and 8 of the basic. Okay? So, there is not an easier way to explain these steps. All we have to do is sacada, look at my chest, sacada, sandwich, forward step, 6, 7, and 8. Last week I was recommending you to do an exercise to practice the disassociation of your lower body with your upper body, meaning your hips and your shoulders. See, my hips are trying to face the camera as my shoulders are trying to go all the way behind. This is the exercise that we're practicing today, okay? For the leaders and for the followers. So pay attention, followers, because this is your part. So it's very important for you ladies to make sure that whenever you're moving your body, as I'm asking the leaders to do, to practice their disassociation, moving first the torso and then their legs, the same applies to you. You're basically using your torso first because that is the connection in your upper body. You're connected with the upper body of the leader. And then finally, you're going to be ending up moving your feet. In order to understand that a little bit better, I'm going to try to explain this with the connection. Let's imagine that this is the leader, okay? And as I've shown before, we're going to walk to the number 5 of the basic. We start the counting with the left foot. As a follower, I am going to start with my left foot. 1, 2. The 1 doesn't go anywhere. We're going to just go 1 on the same side, and then 2 to the side, 3 back, 4 back, and then I feel that the leader is crossing me. That is the number 5. Now, look how the pillow is going to move. In order for me to uncross, if I'm connected right in front of the pillow or touching the pillow, that's ideally in a close embrace dance. But if the pillow, regardless of closed or open, if the pillow moves, see how like I'm following? The pillow first move my upper body, and as a consequence, my leg is disconnecting from that cross. That's what we want. We want first to feel what our upper body is doing. If I don't feel that a movement that in a way is happening like the movement of a mermaid, part by part, if I move everything as a whole, this is how it looks. See how like I'm already walking if I follow everything in as a block. I would like you to learn how to do the movement upper body first, hip then, and by the time that we are disconnected, the leader is already moving his upper body. So I follow that, then see, he's telling me to keep going. And when he stops, he's going to stop. He's not going to go over here. He stops, but my body has the energy to arrive a little bit here. But this, in a mobility of the leader's body, is telling me you cannot go any further in that molinete. You have to stop here. Then he's going to show me to go forward. And then he's going to stop again, and then finish 6, 7, 8. That would be the first part of the exercise. Let's do it on the other side. Once again, I am the follower, and I start with my left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The leader uncrosses. He moves his chest towards his left side, and then my right foot is completely free to go. He moves, I move my torso, and then I go. 2, 3, 4, 5. In the fifth, he's already been completely frozen. And then he's going to make me pivot again, and he finishes 6, 7, and 8. If the lead happens, and if you follow the lead in that particular way, you're never going to have any problems. But what happens when you feel the leg of the leader? It is kind of like a reaction. If you feel touched, you feel that you have to do something, that, you know, that means that a physical connection means something, that I should be doing something. Once again, I'm encouraging the gentleman not to even touch your leg, and you should never feel anything. Now, nothing is perfect. So if you happen to feel something, don't freak out. Let that happen and connect to your upper body. Your upper body is actually telling you exactly where the movement is going. Okay? In this case, I'm going to do it first without the sticks and without the pillow. I want to show you your steps. We're going to walk first to the crossing, the fifth of the 8 steps of the basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After this 5th step, the leader is going to take you to a molinete around him to his right side, and you're going to make 6 steps around him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the last that is taken around you, and then the 6th is done just to finish from where we left in 6, 7, 8, which is the culmination of the first set, of the first basic set. During the process of walking around the leader, as I encouraged you to do last week, I want you to focus in the spots under your elbow. Let's see, if I'm practicing all by myself, I'm going to imagine that I have a tree in front of me, a nice and thick tree, and I'm going to try to embrace the tree like this, and I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5. I uncross. I'm ready to go. Look how my hip is moving first. My chest is staying with the leader, and then I'm walking under my elbow. 1, 2, under my elbow. Important here, 3, under my elbow. 4, under my elbow. 5, under my elbow. The next one, 6, under my elbow. And then finally 6, 7, and 8. So if that happens, I'm going to do it on the other front. If that happens on a regular way, it would feel a little bit like this. 1, 2, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I cannot practice this exercise with just stepping. See, I cannot go like this. I have to have an energy. When you walk, any kind of walk, you're not going like you're walking on the moon, right? You have to walk like you're walking. And this is what I mean when you're walking. There, and now that is just walking. But when I dance, I need energy from my core. And that is going to come like this. Meaning that I need to place, regardless of the energy that I'm receiving, the invitation to go, I have to use my own energy to enhance that movement, whatever the leader is doing, not only into a molinete. Here I'm showing just the molinete, but once again, look, this is wrong. Don't try to do this at home, okay? But I just want you to look when there is no energy whatsoever, and I'm just practicing going under my elbow. That cannot go, I mean, in my head, I was trying to do a little bit with the music, but it cannot go because there is no energy, no taste to it. So if I'm practicing, I'm going to try to go pam, 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 pam. Especially when you're doing it by yourselves and you don't have the energy of the leader, you have to produce a little bit more energy. That doesn't mean that I want you to dance like that at the end. You're going to, if you develop this energy, when you're dancing with your dance partner, you're going to miss doing that effort, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to just flow with that great energy that you're catching from the leader. Okay? So first thing that I want you to notice is I'm going under my elbow all the time, and I am dancing in every step. I'm not just stepping like a little robot. I am creating something in every step that I'm making. Once again, this, I don't want you to learn, ladies, the role of the leaders, but I really would like to know, I really would like you to know exactly what is happening in the moment of the sacada. The leader takes you to the crossing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, here is happening the first sacada. The leader is going to use his right leg, and then he's turning, and you're going to feel his left leg coming here. If the leader is leading you in the proper way, as I explained earlier, using his upper body, making sure that he is like basically guiding you around him, you're not going to feel his legs. Now, if you feel the legs of the leader, it's not the end of the world. Don't take for granted, oh, the leader has to have all the responsibility. Try to make sure that when the leader, I'm going to imagine that I am in the cross and the leader is ready to use his right foot to go here. If I walk towards the leader, remember, when we're doing a molinete, we're making lines around the leader. I can never walk, not even in a diagonal line towards the leader. The line that I'm making has to be completely parallel all the time in front of the leader. So if for some reason I forget about that, and I walk towards him, he's not going to have the ability to go to in front of my other foot without knocking me out. So here is your part, here is your technique, here is your ability to help the leader achieve what he needs to achieve in this step. When the leader is taking you to see, the chest of the leader is facing this wall. So the moment that you do that step, see, I am parallel to him. That is going to go his first sacada. Then I keep my body in front of the leader, and this line that I'm making is in front of the leader. That is the second sacada, and I keep going. In a continually and equidistance all the time around the leader. I never come closer, I never go too far. Okay? That is really extremely important when you're doing these exercises. You feel the leg of the leader, it's not a big deal. You're going to feel kind of like a brush of wind. Let your legs flow with that movement. Don't try to make connection with his body, make connection with his legs. The legs of the leader and the legs of the follower should not be touched during a sacada. Okay? Ideally. Eventually, when you're learning to do these steps, they are going to be moments when you're going to feel the legs of the leader. And but again, that is not a norm. That is an accident. Now, I'm asking the leaders to develop this ability to not only do a molinete, a full molinete at the very end, but also to end up doing a sandwich, which is very, very simple. And you're going to kind of like also enjoy this part. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, sandwich. 2 forward ochos, 6, 7, and 8. I mean, to me, doing a sandwich is a lot easier than finish that molinete. If I do it with the sticks, so you can see how simple is this movement, I start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First sacada, second sacada, sandwich. Sandwich. The leader makes the space for us to walk. Forward ocho, and we finish another forward ocho, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, let's do it on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sacada, sacada, sandwich. Forward ocho, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? As you can tell, the exercise, if I would be able to show you with a dance partner, the exercise would be a little bit very complex. I mean, it will look a lot more complicated than what it is. But because we are learning in isolation, it feels very easy to do. And I always want you to imagine that the movement is as easy as it looks. There's no secret here. All we have to do is, all we have to remember in order to make it look very nice is the disassociation. The more disassociation that you create, the better you're always going to look. Basically, that is what makes tango the beautiful. This ability that I have to make my shoulders in front of the camera, but my hips in a 90-degree angle. That eventually is going to make the exercise and every movement in tango look good. If you achieve that look, you are going to be able to look like tango. Okay? So try to think about these things on your upper body as a follower. Very important for you followers and you leaders, the footwork, which is coming up next in a bit. Well, as I always do, I'm going to show you the last part of the lesson without wearing shoes. You can do the same, provided that you feel comfortable about it. I don't encourage you to, because you're going to end up dancing tango socially, either wearing your shoes or in the case of the ladies, wearing high heels. So it's very important that you get used to do the movement in your regular shoes. The only reason why I show you the exercise is barefoot is so you can see the way that my toes are moving, the way that my ankles are moving, the way that the lower part of my legs are doing. Okay? So in this first part, when we talk about the movement of your feet, I want you to remember something that is very basic, which is forward ochos, both for leaders and for followers. You might think as a leader that we don't have to do forward ochos, but eventually the better that you get, the more you're going to need forward ochos. So it's very important for me to teach you how to do so. When you think of a forward ocho, think to step in front of your other foot. In this case, because we're just practicing, we're not dancing, see, I'm going to walk forward. I'm going to first feel my weight in between my feet. And then I'm going to transfer my weight and I step in front of my other foot, and then I pivot and I finish walking another step. But before I walk, I have to finish my pivot. What does that mean? Look how I'm pivoting. I'm transferring my weight, I'm elongating my ankle, lifting my heel, moving my upper body, finishing the pivot, and then I go to the next step. So there is a process that is bringing me there. It's not just to walk the step. See, this is completely wrong. We never do a step like that. Everything happens because there is a consequence. First, you have to do something so that leg comes forward. In this case, I'm walking forward, I'm transferring my weight. Look how my ankle is moving my center forward. Most of my weight right now is on the right foot. Then I'm going to move my shoulders towards the camera, and that is going to help me do the pivot. So the movement of my shoulders is dragging my hips, and my hips are dragging my feet. My feet are going to collect for a second, and then I'm ready to do the second step. Now, instead of just thinking of forward ochos, meaning that I'm going to go in just one line, I'm going to try to do a square. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of that square. I'm going to start with my right foot forward, and I'm going to remember all these instructions that I was giving you before. I switch my weight forward, I move my upper body in the direction, in this case 90 degrees, And see, I brush my other foot and I'm good to go. I make that step. See, my weight is in between my feet. I'm going to push the ground with my ankle to completely go to this, to transfer my weight to my left foot. And then, now it's turn of a back step. So I'm going to move my shoulders towards the window. And as a consequence, my feet move. My left foot pivot, my right foot brought together with the left, and then I'm able to do the next step. I do the projection, I start switching my weight. My weight is in the middle. I'm going to push the ground to finish doing that step. See, push the ground with my ankle, push the ground. And then, because there's nothing here that I have to move my body, all I have to move is towards the side. And still, because I'm going to the side, my upper body is leading that movement. First, I move my center and my foot is coming, see? I move my center, and as a consequence of that, my foot is moving. And I finish the square, so I can keep going. Forward, pivot, side, finish, pivot, back, the next side, which I just have to move my core, and I do it again. You can practice this exercise, and this is not only for the followers, it's for leaders as well. You can practice this exercise having in mind that that square is not only made right here. Imagine that you have a square that you're going to place here, another one here, another one here, and another one here. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. So how I'm going to do that? Let's say I am in the square that is in my lower left side. I can go bum, bum. Now I'm in the middle of the center. I mean, right in the center of all the squares. I can go side. That I'm changing the sets. I'm being extremely creative here in order to show you all these squares that I have drawn on the ground. Okay? The idea is that the more you play with the molinete and the going under your elbows and moving as a consequence your upper body first and then the steps, you're going to find how easy either following this or leading this exercise is. Now, when you're a leader and you're going to do this step, this is a little bit of precision. The lady is doing her forward step. This happens with her right foot. In the first sacada that you're doing also with your right foot, you have to step, let's say, 2 inches away her foot. The moment that you're moving your torso, that leg is going to be going to the next step. Now, if you are not very energetic, this is what is going to happen. See, I'm not going to be able to finish that pivot, and I'm going to arrive a little bit too late to arrive here, because once again, your sacada is, the first one is in front of her foot, The second sacada is in front of the other foot. Okay, so have that in mind when you're leading these exercises. Forward, side. Once again, here it looks like I am using my leg, but it just looks that way because I'm stepping, and because I'm moving my upper body, it creates that illusion that I am kicking her leg, but it's actually the energy of my upper body that is doing that. So, one more time. After the cross, your first sacada, 2 inches of her foot. The next sacada, same thing, 2 inches, and my foot is, look how my foot is going almost on the side. In a bit, I'm going to show you in the other direction. Sandwich, sandwich, forward ocho, 6, 7, and 8. Let me show you how I'm doing. Let's imagine this is the cross. Forward. The side of my toe is arriving here. And then when I switch my weight, that is taking care of her leg. See how I never really touch the stick. That needs to be also your experience. After this, sandwich, forward ocho, another forward ocho. I collect my feet comfortably, 6, 7, and 8. Now, let me show you this as from the perspective of the followers. You're going cross. You don't feel that, but see what happens if I move my leg without moving my... Can you see how I kick that stick? Because I am doing this. Look, the perfect way to do so would be, as I explained a little bit earlier, I step in front of my other foot. I switch, and then I allow my upper body to do the movement. Upper body to do the movement. One more time. We start 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm walking in front, completely parallel to the leader. He goes in front of my foot. He makes me switch my weight. My upper body is following the leader. Before I can go, he prepares to do the other sacada. He moves his torso. He invites me to do a sandwich. In the sandwich, I'm not doing this. That is going to take me, if I bend, most of my weight is going to the left side. If I keep straight, my weight is perfectly aligned. The leader is going to do the sandwich. He's going to move backwards, creating the space in front of me, which I'm going to welcome. Embellishment, you can kick there. Forward ocho. See, this forward ocho is not going towards the leader. Another forward ocho. And we finish 6, 7, and 8. During the last weeks, we have been also trying to emphasize the how the feet are working, not only in the parts that you require to really do something special in for these particular movements, which is like the sacadas or the forward ochos or the sandwich. I want all the time that your feet are, see, if you're waiting for the leader to do something, your feet should be completely together. If you're going to take a side step, your side step needs to start with your toe. You switch your weight, the other foot is being, not only the foot, the whole leg is being dragged because your center, your core is calling that step. And the best way to do that is by lifting your center, see? So when you're practicing the exercise that I gave you before, try to do that. Side step, when I'm going to walk forward, even the very simple side step has to have a flavor to it, a tango flavor. You cannot move. Look how different it is if I do this or this. That doesn't look like tango. Tango is always going to look nice if I move my legs in such a way that it's appealing to the senses. Okay? When we're talking about side steps. When we're going forward, leaders and followers, make sure that your step, see, I'm elongating my ankle, but I'm ending up with my heel. I know that some people teach to go with the toes, but that doesn't look like tango. Tango imitates the movements that we do walking down the streets of a city. So we never walk in the street like this, okay? So it's a lot, and it is going to give you a lot more stability and a lot more strength if you train your body to go with the heel, okay? That is very, very important. So putting that together, in the sacadas, we cannot go with our foot towards where our dance partner is and stepping with the toes. The first sacada, I'm going to go with my heel. See? The leg of the lady, the foot of the lady is going there. My foot is going to arrive here, and by the time my metatarso is on the floor completely, I'm going to be doing the first sacada. Here, as I explained, the side of my foot is going first, and when my metatarso arrives, I'll be doing the sacada. Okay? So there is a reason why I am asking you to step with the heel, step on the side, making sure that you're elongating your legs. When you're retrieving the line, remember this line. When you're walking forward, heel straight. If you walk immediately here, you're cutting a lot of your pivot. So if you cut your pivot short, your upper body is not going to be working. As a consequence, your dance partner is not going to understand what you're meaning if you want to do a molinete, if it's just a back ocho. So you have to be completely clear. I walk, I pivot, and then I do my sacada. Okay? In the case of the followers, the way that you feel this, The more you go with your heel, you're going to feel, see how my foot makes these funny noises? Well, sometimes. But the thing is that if you feel more pivot on the ball of your foot, the better it is. That means that you're doing a great job. If you don't, once again, exactly the same thing that I am asking the leaders not to do. If in your forward step you go with your foot towards the leader, you're cutting short your next pivot. So that means that your body is not going to go upper body first and then your feet, because your foot already went there. So your body is going to move in as a block. Remember what I said about moving as a block. If you move as a block, it doesn't look like tango. If you move first your upper body, then your feet, that looks like tango. So even if you're practicing this all by yourself for now, make sure that you feel the connection in between your upper body and your lower body. They cannot move at the same time when you're dancing tango. The upper body moves first, the lower body moves as a consequence of what your upper body is doing, okay? The more you practice that, the better your movements are going to start developing. That would be basically for the footwork today. Once again, there are so many exercises that you can do to make your the muscles of your feet a little bit stronger. If you by any chance have a problem doing the pivots or making sure, while you're walking forward or doing any of these exercises that I showed you today, if you have any pain, make sure the muscles that we have in our feet are very, very small. They are teeny tiny, and 95% of the time we don't use them. So for that same reason, they are not developed, they don't have the strength, and most likely you're going to have a lot of cramps when you do these exercises. The thing is that you have to start working out those muscles. I showed last week how to do this, collecting the towel and releasing the towel. Any warm-up that you do to your feet, like caressing the floor with the tips of your toes, first the big toe, going down to the tiny, and then come back to the big toe, or on the other side. Those exercises, stretching and contracting your toes, exercises of just the ankle, all of this is going to help you warm up those muscles before you try other things. So if you have or you feel any discomfort, try to warm up your muscles first, and then everything is going to be a lot easier. However, if you have any questions about your feet, about the movements that we worked today, about the sequence, about anything else, please don't hesitate to contact me. I am more than happy to assist you with this or any other question that you may have. So this would be our lessons for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, I'm going to see you in a bit with our fantastic guest musician today, Ricardo Badaraco from bandoneonist from La Juan D'Arienzo, which was with us last March 10th at Gleneco Park. So it's going to be a fantastic opportunity to be a little bit closer to this great artist and to the whole orchestra that he manages. So thank you so very much again, and I will see you in a bit.